stomach and then out of the body. But the things that come out of the mouth come from the heart, and these make a man unclean. For out of the heart comes evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, slander. These are what makes a man unclean. But eating with unwashed hands does not make him unclean. Tie that back into what we just read. If you're unclean in your heart, the overflow of your heart that comes out of your mouth will be unclean things. But if you're clean in your heart, the overflow that comes out of your mouth will be clean. Our words reveal what is in our heart. Our words should reflect God in us. That's the next perspective I've pulled out of the New Testament. And before I really go into this one, I gotta say, normally I would never preach off a verse that is part A or part B, because for me that's taking something completely out of context. You're killing a thought. You're hitting it and chopping a thought up. So I want to give you the context of what's being said. This is exactly what this whole sermon series idea is about. Peter is talking about living for God, what your life should look like, living for God. And actually, part A of this verse is a complete sentence. It's a complete thought. If anyone speaks, he should do so as one speaking the very words of God. Let me say that again. If anyone speaks, he should do so as one speaking the very words of God. Does your speech reflect God? Are the words that you say on a daily basis the very words of God? How powerful is that? How much pressure is that? As believers of Christ, as children of the light who need to dispel the darkness, our speech should reflect the very words of God. That is a lot of pressure. Tell me, if our words are reflecting the very words of God, how can we speak unclean words? God cannot exist with evil. He cannot exist with the unclean. If our words are the very words of God, how can we say what's evil? How can we say what's unclean? That's powerful stuff to think about. According to the New Testament, we should avoid evil speaking. This includes slander, gossip, untruthfulness, gossip, impure talk, gossip, insults, and gossip. In case you didn't hear me, gossip. This isn't just a Old Testament, New Testament thing. This encompasses both testaments. And church, I want you to hear me. And I don't just mean church as this congregation. I mean church universal. A bigger problem than obscenity in the church is gossip. Most Christians have obscenity in check, but it is human nature to gossip. It's hard for us to avoid it. We naturally just talk about each other, talk about what's going on, and usually if we keep it at, how you doing, what's going on, did you hear about so-and-so, they're doing good, you're okay. It's when you start talking about the stuff you're not supposed to talk about. That's where it gets dangerous. And I want to show you, these are all out of the book of Proverbs, and I'm not going to turn to each one. I want you to write them down and look them up and get the word for word. But I'm going to show you some effects that Proverbs shows us about gossip. Gossip betrays confidence.